It's a privilege for me to be here today, and I'm really looking forward to speaking with you about this technology and what it can mean to you. While I don't have a formal education in acupuncture, I have been studying acupuncture privately for about 30 years. And what you're going to see today is that this is a new technology that can stimulate the acupuncture meridians to produce effects that are very different than needles. This technology also works extremely well with a acupuncture diagnosis. In practice, you would still use a acupuncture diagnosis and needles in the treatment of your patients. The difference is that you would apply the patches afterwards, and this is excellent. Your patients will see improved results, and so they will have greater satisfaction with your service. You'll be happy to know that we have been investigating this phenomena for 20 years now. There are multiple international patents plus over 80 clinical studies. So this has been extremely well researched. What we're going to be focusing in on this afternoon is how to use this technology to improve the way the body heals. And specifically, we are going to speak about how to use this technology to activate the stem cell. I'm going to show you some of the work that we have done in our research, and then some of the real life results that people get. With that, let's get started with the presentation. So first, let's talk about stem cells for a while. Stem cells, of course, are the universal cells in the body. So every cell in your body, muscle tissue, liver cells, heart cells, were once stem cells. And as we age, the stem cells in our body age with us. So by the time we're age 60, we have 60 to 80% less stem cells in the body. And by the time we are in our 70s, there are virtually no more stem cells. So this means that if we are trying to heal, it becomes progressively much more difficult after the age of 50 and 60. Now, many doctors are using stem cell injections, but these have some disadvantages. Stem cell injections are expensive, and they do come with risk. So the question is, what if we were to use the stem cells that are already in your body? Could we make the stem cells in your body behave like younger, healthier cells? We have developed many devices for activating the stem cells in the body. And this has resulted in more than 80 patents globally just in stem cells and regenerative medicine. So very early on, we were working with the National University of Ireland in Galway, Ireland. And this university is in the top 2% of universities globally in stem cell research. And this work, in fact, was funded by the Irish government. So this is a technology I invented that we refer to as a double helix conductor. And this device is capable of activating the stem cells in the body. We have done many studies with this. I'm going to show you one that we did with rabbits. A very significant problem in Mexico is diabetes. When a person develops diabetes, they are at very high risk to develop neuropathy. And this can result in an open wound on the feet or ankles. And in late stage, it can result in amputation. Medicine currently does not have a solution to this problem. So What we were doing here was inducing a diabetic ulceration on the ear of the rabbit. Then we wanted to see if our therapy could heal this open wound. Then we wanted to see if our therapy could heal this open wound. So what we found in our very first study is that using energy to activate the stem cells, we could speed up the healing of this wound. And what was remarkable is that this rate of healing was the same as if we had applied stem cells to the wound. So this was the first time we discovered you do not have to give a stem cell injection. You can use energy to activate the stem cells already in the body. Now, we also applied this technique to planaria, and planaria are remarkable because you can cut off their heads and they will regenerate in 17 days. With this technology, we were able to regenerate their heads in only 8 days. And we even found ways to speed this up to regenerate the heads in less than 1 day. So we're extremely excited about the future of this technology. The problem with this technology is that it's very expensive and it's not available to everyone. So I wanted to take what we learned from these experiments and create a technology that could be available to healthcare practitioners and their patients. How does this technology work? Well, this technology we're going to talk about is a new type of light therapy device. Now, of course, light therapy has been around for over 100 years and longer, and we usually think of this as being some type of lamp or laser. But LifeWave is very different because this is a patch that you apply to the body. And the patch does not put any chemicals or drugs into the body. This patch is completely sealed, so no drugs or herbs enter the body. Instead, this patch stimulates the skin with light. So the patch contains materials that are activated by body heat. When you apply the patch to the skin, it will begin to stimulate the skin with light. So this has an enormous advantage because you can apply the patch anywhere to the body. So if you wanted to apply this to stomach 36 or large intestine 14, for example, you could do that. If you wanted to apply it to an injury or a point of pain, you could do that as well. The patch is going to stimulate the skin with light in the infrared and the visible spectra. What happens is that when you apply the patch to the body, it will activate the stem cells. When you apply the patch to the body, it will activate the stem cells. For example, when we go out in the sun, sunlight will cause the body to make vitamin D. So we are using light to create a biochemical change in the body. We are going to use this technology to activate stem cells. Instead of elevating vitamin D, we are going to elevate a peptide called GHK-Cu. This is also known as copper peptide. And what you're going to see is that this peptide has some remarkable effects on the human body. Now, if you do some research, you will find that this peptide was first discovered about 50 years ago. And what makes it so powerful is that it can reset about 1/3 of the human genome to a younger, healthier state. What makes this peptide so powerful is that it can reset 1/3 of the human genome to a younger, healthier state. So A good way to say this is that this peptide makes your cells act like younger, healthier cells. Now, how do we know that this patch elevates copper peptide? Well, we have a number of clinical studies on our website that where we do blood and urine testing to prove this. So this is an example of our first test that we did on people over the age of 60, because we know that as people age, their stem cell activity and copper peptide levels go down. We took a blood sample on day 1 and then again 24 hours after the patch was applied. We then took a blood sample a week later and again did a measurement. And what we found is that to statistical significance, this patch will elevate copper peptide within 24 hours. So that's really exciting because it means that this product goes to work right away. And there are no side effects because we are creating this change with light. This was a follow-up study that we did that was larger. And again, this is on the LifeWave website. Find this study on the LifeWave website. And this was similar to the first study, but this was double blind with 60 people. And again, we found that we were able to achieve statistical significance with this study. Okay, now let's take a look at some of the benefits that people receive by elevating copper peptide. This was a test, a study that we did using urine analysis, and this study was double blind with 50 people. And again, the average age of the people in the study was over 60. So we wanted to find out, could we take people over 60 who have very low stem cell activity and improve their health with this technology? We wanted to find out, could we take people over the age of 60 and improve their health with this technology? And again, we took samples on day 1 and then 24 hours and 1 week. So what we found with this was really exciting. The first thing is that when you use this product, it will increase protein synthesis. So for example, it increases the amount of collagen that your body needs. So of course, this is important because your body needs collagen to heal injuries. We also found, which is remarkable, in that in only 1 week, people with high blood pressure see a reduction in blood pressure in only 1 week. This is where we measure the muscle contractions in the heart. We find that this improves in only 1 week. One thing that is very dramatic about this product is that for most people, the very first day they use it, they notice an improvement in the quality of their sleep. And overall energy, vitality, and even the depth of breathing improves within the first week of using the product. So you can see that there are a tremendous number of benefits from activating stem cells with light. Let's take a look at one specific benefit I think you're going to be really excited about. This was a study to map the brain and find out what would happen from using this product to activate stem cells in the brain. So for this study, it was our first study with 12 people, and they were over the age of 50. And the study lasted 6 weeks. This is the first scan with a woman 77 years old. And for those of you that are familiar with EEG, what you'll recognize is that the brain is not in coherence. So this means that different regions of the brain are not communicating properly with one another. Session 2 is only 3 weeks after session 1. So by activating stem cells in a woman that's 77, we can get a dramatic result in only 3 weeks. Session 3 was recorded at 6 weeks. So you can see that the results improved over the period of 6 weeks. Now, not everyone will respond that quickly. Some people need a little bit more time. So here's a man that's 67 years old, and you can see he has a similar problem regarding the communication of different regions of the brain. After 3 weeks of using the product, there's been a significant improvement, but it took 6 weeks to see a dramatic improvement. So we'd recommend that people use the product for at least 4 weeks before deciding if it worked for them. Let's take a look at what happens to people in real life with this product. We released this product first in the United States in July of 2018. So here was a gentleman that had open heart surgery in July 2017. As you would expect, a year later, he still had a scar. But after only 1 month of using this product, there was a dramatic reduction in the appearance of the scar. Now, this was a woman in Italy that had surgery. She applied the product immediately, and as you can see, after only 2 weeks, there's been a dramatic reduction in the appearance of the scar. Again, this is easy to understand because stem cells are increasing collagen production and helping to facilitate wound healing. Now, the patch can be applied almost anywhere on the body. Some people like to apply it right at the point of the injury. We find if you apply the patch behind the neck at GV14 or below the belly button, it works for the whole body. Now, this was a young man that was getting ready for an interview and unfortunately had a snowboarding accident. And his mother applied X39, and you can see that within only 5 days, there was a dramatic improvement in his wound healing. This was a remarkable case of a man that was in a very bad car accident and nearly lost his hand. And as you can see in this case, he applied the patch right at the wrist. Looks like it's right along the pericardium. But after only 2 months, there is barely the sign of a scar. Now, this was an extremely severe case. This was a young boy, 9 years old in Denmark, who got his fingertip caught in a door. And you can see that the fingertip was actually cut off. So the parents rushed their son to the hospital to have the fingertip attached. And the doctor said, well, I can reattach the fingertip, but it's probably going to die. And you can see that's exactly what started to happen. They heard about LifeWave from a friend, and they began to apply our patch product. And incredibly, 2 months later, there's barely the sign of a scar, and the young boy regained use of his finger. Now, so far, we have looked at wound healing, but this product is fantastic for people that are healthy as well. So what happens in healthy people when you activate the stem cells with light? Well, we see a phenomena that we refer to as youth renewal. By elevating copper peptide, we get the cells to act like younger, healthier cells, and the cells begin to produce more collagen. So this is one of our members in Australia. Her name is Mandy, and she used the patch for 6 weeks and was very pleased with the reduction in lines and wrinkles that she saw. She continued to use the product for 1 year, and you can see a noticeable change in the complexion of her skin as compared to day one. Now let me show you what happened to her after 2 years of using LifeWave. This is what happened to her after 2 years. Now, this would be a very typical result after 3 months. We can see that the skin becomes much more firm and tight. There's a reduction in lines and wrinkles, and there's also a improvement in the overall complexion of the skin. I think also as acupuncturists, you'll notice that there is a cleansing of the liver in this particular one. Now, sometimes we see very dramatic effects. This is one of our customers in Japan who experienced a very dramatic improvement with LifeWave. This, again, it would be a very typical result that we see after about 3 months of using LifeWave. And this is the very first youth renewal testimonial we received on the X39 product. So at the time of this photo, this woman was 93 and she lives in Denmark. She was suffering with a number of very significant health problems, and her daughter heard about X39 and just simply wanted her mother to feel better with the product. So you can imagine everyone's surprise with the result that she got after only 2 months of using X39. So I want to take this opportunity to, again, thank you for your time learning about X39 and LifeWave.